Very nice.
Gotta love Brian.
Just a reminder.
All right, we are now live streaming. Is that right, Senator Pearson?
Yeah, I was thinking we would do that just in case some folks are watching, and then we'll turn it off for the small group work because that doesn't seem like a good fit. But maybe we can. Hopefully, I'm assuming we'll be able to come back together and kind of wrap it up, and at that point we could go back online and help share with folks what we're learning. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, leaders of this project, go right ahead and give us our assignments.
So we thought that I'm looking to our transportation friends who are going to be really help facilitate our 3 different groups. But we thought we recently had a good presentation from Kaya Morris about the guiding principles for just transition that the Climate Council Just Transition Committee created and the full council adopted. So I think today is really just to dig in and start practicing applying those to some proposals. And our friends in transportation, the House Transportation Committee, have generously brought a few different proposals that we can work with. My guess is in the time that we have allotted, so I've printed out some copies of the screener as well as the full document for folks to work with in the 3 different groups. My guess is like your group may not get all the way through this tool, but this is just for some hands-on practice to start using it. There's some prompt questions for each category. There's a screening rubric that you can play with that actually assigns a score to things. And I think my guess is part of what we'll find through this exercise is where might we need more information? So it might not be possible to answer all the questions that are prompted through this tool perfectly today in our work, but that's part of the intent of the tool, right? Is to prompt like, where might there be missing information? Where might we need to hear from a different group? So maybe I'll turn it over to Becca to describe and then we can break into 3 groups.
Yeah, thank you. So you've got 3 fantastic folks who are going to be your policy related folks. So we've also never done this screening tool, but we're going to be, if you have questions about the sections that we're going to go over, we can be your helpers there. So you've got Representative Molly Burke on e-buses and
fare-free transit.
These are, which is a section of H552, which is our Transportation Innovation Act bill. And so Molly, Gabrielle, myself all have different sections of that bill. So it's not the entirety of the bill, just individual pieces. So if you like e-buses or however our chair wants to divide us out, if you end up in e-buses, you'll be with Molly. Then we've got Gabrielle is doing all the electric vehicle charging, or known as EVSE. And I have all incentives on new electric vehicles. So depending on how the screening goes, the sections are very short. So my assumption is that you should be able to digest what the policies are pretty quickly. But if you have context questions, all 3 of us are versed in the topic itself.
Okay. That sounds wonderful.
How do you want to divide us up, Sarah?
Well, what I'm wondering is, do we have anyone from our Just Transition subgroup that we want to
Emily and I can assign ourselves to different groups. And I think that I'm not sure that there's anybody else from that subcommittee, so we can flow a little bit too as needed.
Okay. So let's see if we are able to balance ourselves sort of organically as opposed to me assigning group numbers. And we'll just say that we'll assign rooms. So Molly, you can stay here with anyone who chooses to stay here and with the 3 members participating remotely. And then if the rest of us, if you 2 want to split up out in the main area or in room 267, there should be plenty of chairs to move around to have small group discussions there. And then hopefully Selena and Emily can float back and forth. So Any questions? All right, so you each have a packet of papers that you'll share with your group when we get there. I would welcome everybody to grab another piece of pizza. It looks like we have plenty. And what time should we aim to get back here? Just for the group leaders' timekeeping purposes.
What time is it now?
It's
12:45 maybe?
yeah, 12:45, so we can report back quickly and then head over to our 1 o'clock meetings. Sound like a plan? Chris?
That sounds like a great plan. Do we think, for folks who are leading the discussion, should we leave this channel running live, or is it going to be better to just come back onto YouTube when we kind of are all back together? What do you think?
I think that one of the reasons that we're practicing this is so that we can practice. And I think sometimes practice is easier. It's easier to make mistakes sometimes when we're not live streamed on YouTube. So I want
good.
everyone to feel safe to make those tough mistakes.
Good. So we'll be back.
Whatever clarifying questions you might need to ask.
Yeah.
So.
We'll be back